Hi everyone. My latest book, Final Cut, has been out for nearly a week now, and I thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about the differences that I found this time around publishing a book during lockdown. So I'm going to do a future video talking about writing a book during lockdown, which I've also been attempting to do. But today I thought I'd talk a little bit about publishing or putting a book out during lockdown, because it's been quite an interesting, quite a different experience. Normally, for example, I'd be sitting on a train right now, probably, which actually, I mean, this is August and it's incredibly hot at the moment, so I'm quite relieved I'm not. But yeah, I'd probably be sitting on a train now on my way to doing a book signing or an event in a library or at a festival or something like that. So it's quite weird not to be doing that and to be sitting basically, you know, in the same room in which I wrote the book, trying to promote it or to publish it. So that's very strange. It's a very strange experience. So what's normal with publishing a book? Well, I mean, I can think of when I published Before I Go to Sleep and Second Life, and with both of those books, I did a tour. So I was, you know, traveling around, meeting people, meeting booksellers, meeting readers, going to festivals, things like that, bookshop events, library events, signing books, meeting people who've read it or want to read it, none of which are happening at the moment. You know, I would often have signed a load of books in the warehouse too. So I remember Before I Go to Sleep, I signed something like 500 books. Maybe it was 1,500 even, I can't remember. Which again hasn't happened with this book, with Final Cut. And also, you know, I did the Curious Arts Festival. Harrogate Festival would have been last month. There's a festival I did last year which was great called Capital Crime, which would have been in October, I think it was, which has now had to be cancelled as well. Edinburgh would have been nowish, I think, Edinburgh Book Festival. And all of these are, you know, opportunities to get out there and meet people, and to talk about the ideas in the book and to share those with people who might be interested. And that's one of the great things about doing videos like this, actually, and to have this kind of connection with you all. But it's not quite as instant, obviously. So now during lockdown, obviously none of those things are possible. None of those avenues to talk about a book are available. So, you know, I've done a few online events and they've been great. Actually, I've really enjoyed them much more than I thought I possibly would. I think we're all getting used to a different way of living at the moment, a different way of doing our jobs, and I suppose my job is no different in that respect. And I'm very lucky because the main part of my job, the writing of the book, has been, to some extent, mostly unaffected by the lockdown situation. But, you know, I'm not going to pretend it wasn't a bit disappointing to be doing, for example, the Damien Bar Literary Salon, but in my living room as opposed to in the Savoy, the ballroom at the Savoy Hotel. Well, I still managed cocktails, so that was one thing. So, you know, there are some advantages in the way things are at the moment, I suppose. The advantages of an online event: I don't have to iron my shirt, or iron the back of my shirt anyway, or even wear trousers necessarily if I don't want to, although I am. And it is a way of connecting with audiences all over, you know, international audiences that I might not be able to connect with. And that's certainly my kind of hope for this current situation, is that it might make these kinds of events accessible for people who are remote perhaps, or don't feel comfortable to travel to these kinds of events, or don't feel that they belong there. I think there's an element with some of the festivals perhaps that some people feel that it's not really for them. Maybe this is a way that those people can enjoy the events. So, you know, it's a difficult thing. I feel incredibly lucky, as I said, because most people are much more severely affected by what's going on at the moment than I am. But, you know, I do miss being out there, and I do miss meeting people, getting to speak to readers especially, to meet booksellers, to meet other authors. It's a really weird, strangely schizophrenic job because, You know, I spend most of my time sitting in a room with imaginary people, um, which is obviously very solitary and very insular. And then the book comes out, and it's almost flipping the other way. Then, and you know, I find myself on stage and sitting at the signing table talking to strangers. But I do love that, and it feels like it's a nice balance, and it's a balance which feels out of kilter this time around. So I hope things change, obviously, as we all do, and I hope that soon I can get out there, talk about Final Cut, meet people who've enjoyed it or who are hoping to read it. But for now, I suppose I'm just sitting here doing this kind of thing and feeling actually really quite lucky that I don't have to worry quite the same way that many people are. So I hope that's interesting. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.